Geoffrey Miller with the Gordon Center for Research and Medical Education. I'm the Associate Director of Research and Curriculum Development for the Division of Pre-Hospital and Emergency Healthcare. We're located at the University of Miami Miller School of Medicine. My personal history with simulation dates back to my earliest training to become an EMT and then paramedic. So that was where I got my first taste. That was quite some time ago, 20 plus years. And since then have kind of grown into the academic side of things, ultimately ending up at the medical school working with a center of excellence that is well steeped and founded in simulation since the mid-60s. Well, I think the sun events are a tremendous tool for not just people that are new to simulation, but those that are actively engaged in simulation and have been for quite some time. We have to keep in mind that there's not a day that goes by without learning something new. You know, simulation is still a relatively young educational intervention, and there's still a lot that we don't quite exactly know what the best ways are to approach. So it's good to get together at meetings like this where you have like-minded people and we can share some of our best practices and experiences to figure out what are the right ways to approach things based on learner groups and levels. This sun event, I was asked to come in and talk about improving educational efficiencies through the use of simulation-based technologies. And it's really looking at how can we use simulation to be more of our friend. You know, there's a lot of effort and time that goes into developing these exercises, and it is kind of costly in terms of the use of faculty and the finances of the institution to make simulation happen. So what are ways that we can use simulation that are perhaps more cost-effective or time-effective that allow us to reach a greater depth of learners? Where do I see it going and where do I think it has to go, or maybe two different answers. I see it kind of continuing the pathway. Technology will continue to develop and we'll get a little bit better at these things. Where I see simulation having to go is more formally into the area of assessment, using simulation as a tool for assessing competence of various learner levels. We've become very comfortable and good at using simulation as an educational intervention, but perhaps have not gotten quite as good as we should be at using simulation-based technology as an assessment of competence tool, and that's where we really need to drive it. I mean, assessment drives education. And until we get very serious about assessing our learners with simulation, we're going to have a hard time really prescriptively saying where they need to go for error correction, additional learning, and refinement of different skills and practice.